Hari Om students, good morning to all of you. So we have a new session in our social science class today. We have started discussing about the lifelines of the economy. So we completed our roadways last class. Its advantages we have discussed and classification also we have discussed. Okay. Then by the time all of you know the usual practice of making or remembering about the keyword SMS. Why we should follow, all of you know. I know your parents are much concerned about you. Still, it is our duty to make you remember always about this because you are our lovable children. Okay. So, today we will start with a new topic from our lesson, that is a road density. What do you mean by density? All of you know, you are studying physics, chemistry and all, so you know what is density. But in case of road, what is the density here means? That is the length of road per 100 square kilometer area. The length of road per square 100 square kilometer area is called as a density. But it is not uniform in our country. Why it is not uniform? Can you tell me why it is not uniform? Arjun Vinod, can you tell me why it is not uniform? Our relief features are different. Some places have mountains, some are hilly regions, some are valleys, some are plateaus, some are plain regions, some are coastal plains. Okay. Then there are mountainous regions are there, rocky areas are there. So depending upon the physiography of our country or relief feature of our country, the construction of road also varies from region to region. For example, if you take northeastern hilly region of our country, it is not possible to construct a road as like the northern plains of India or the peninsular plateau region of India, because here the northern plains, the land is leveled lands, so it is easy to construct railway lines or roadways. But in the northeastern hilly region, there are up and downs are there. Then also compared with the railways, roadways are there. Okay. So Jammu and Kashmir, you take Jammu and Kashmir, only 10 kilometer is the density of road, while in Kerala there is a 375 kilometer road density is there. So the density means per 100 square kilometer, what is the length of road? That is the road density. But why it is not uniform? Because of the irregularities in relief features, it is not uniform. Okay. Then we have discussed a lot of advantages of roadways. What are the advantages we have discussed in our previous classes? Naval, tell me two advantages. Door-to-door delivery is possible. Connects as a link between other means of transport. Then cost of loading and unloading is less compared with the other means of transport. Few volume of passengers and goods can be carried. Like this way we have seen a lot of advantages for the roadways. Like the advantages, there are many problems also for the roadways. What are the problems we can see? See, our road transport system is not adequate. Inadequate road network is existing when we compare the network of roads or density of roads with the volume of passengers and vehicles. Nowadays, we know the number of vehicles has increased 3 or 4 or 5 times if you compare with some 50 years back. Is it, or even 20 years back? So the number of persons, the number of people and the number of vehicles have increased very high. So the roads which are now is there, it is inadequate for accommodating this number of passengers and vehicles. Okay. Then unmetalled roads, based on the materials used for construction of roads, we can classify into metalled and unmetalled roads we have seen. So unmetalled roads, you know, unmetalled roads, by using gravel we are making unmetalled roads. Even metalled roads are not useful during the time of rainy season because of the pits develop in the roads. Then you think about the unmetalled roads, it is not at all useful in the time of rainy season especially. But even metalled roads also, we can see that lack of proper construction and maintenance, they also creates problems for us. Many accidents are taking place. It is coming in news and all about these mismanagement from the part of the government regarding the construction and maintenance of roads. Okay. Then highly congested in cities. In cities and towns, these roads are highly congested. Narrow roads are there. We know, according to the volume of passengers and vehicles, the road's width is not satisfactory. And you can see that a large number of street sellers are also occupying both the sides of the roads. Again, will reduce the volume of the roads or the width of the roads, and it creates problems to the vehicles. Then some shops are there which are extending their frontage position by keeping the goods into the road area. That also creates problem. Sometimes these sheets what they are using for shading also creates problem for the transportation system. Then there are posts are there, electric posts are there, telephone posts are there. We have not totally converted into cable system. So underlying cable system is not at all made completely by our electricity or by our telephone line. So it also creates problem for the road transportation. So there are many problems, especially in cities, as there is more number of vehicles and a large number of passengers are there. Then narrow bridges and culverts are there. Our many bridges are constructed long years back, so they are at that time not constructed in such a manner that it will accommodate this increased number of passengers and vehicles. So they are narrow bridges. What is a culvert? Culvert means what? Culvert, a tunnel or open, sometimes over the rivers there are bridges we are constructing. Is it or not? That is for a crossing the this river or this open drains are there sometimes, open drains. So these places we are constructing some bridges or some tunnels we wanted to construct where we have to go through these areas. So these are also narrow, they are not taken into account the increased number of volume of passengers and vehicles. So these are the problems what we face in the road transportation system, irrespective of its advantages. Then you know how much negligence is from the part of us regarding the law and order. You know, the minimum speed is not maintained, creating problems. Then don't drink and drive. All these we are intoxicating drinks are not allowed while driving. Mobile phones are not allowed while driving. All these laws are simply neglected by people because of their careless aspects related with the driving factors. They are creating problems also on the road. And you know youngsters how they are going through the roads by using bikes and all. So because of these factors, when we consider, we should be very careful regarding the driving aspect, otherwise it will create a lot of problems. Okay, so these are the problems what we face in the road transportation system. So there are different questions are there, classification of the roads is there, advantages, disadvantages, each one is a separate question for you. Please read the textbook properly and give due attention towards the aspects what we are discussing in our class. Okay. Then next is our road transportation system, railways. All of you know what are railways, or you are traveling in trains, is it or not? For traveling long distances, it is more comfortable, trains are more comfortable and carrying large number of passengers and volume of goods also. Trains are very helpful, isn't it? So our first railway system is started during the time of the Britishers. This is also started by them in 1853 between Mumbai and Thane. There now also local trains are running based on electric trains are there, which makes the transportation system very fast and efficient. So this is the first railway line which is started in our country in 1853 between Mumbai and Thane. All of you know. So it is the principal mode or chief mode of transportation system regarding the goods and passengers. Freight and passengers means goods and passengers. And there are different purposes are fulfilled by the railways. Pilgrimage, business, sightseeing, all these different packages are nowadays conducted by the railways, and for traveling long distances it is more comfortable. It connects far off places with our country. During the time of the nationalist movement, even though it is started for the benefit of the Britishers, it helped Indian nationalist leaders in organizing the people who lived in different parts of the country, conveying the ideas to the people in different parts of the country. And we know our economic density of roads and advantages of railway network. What do you mean by density of roads? Density means the length of roads per 100 square kilometer is called the density of roads. Length of roads per 100 square kilometer is called the density of roads. So it is unevenly distributed or not uniform. For example, northeastern states we know the density of roads is compared to other parts less. But northern plains have a high density of roads is there. And if you go to Jammu and Kashmir, again the density of road is less. So depending upon the topography, the density of road is varying from one region to another. And in Kerala we have 375 kilometer per 100 square kilometer, while Jammu and Kashmir have only 10 kilometer per 100 square kilometer area. So the density of road is varying from region to region according to the topography of the land. Okay. So last class we have discussed about the advantages of road transportation system. Door-to-door delivery is possible, is it or not? It acts as a feeder link between other means of transport. Small amount of passengers and goods can be transported easily. This loading unloading expenditure is less. Like this way we have discussed one by one the advantages of a road transportation system. Now we can see what are the, and you know the economic development of our country is based on transportation of goods and services from the supply centers to the production demand locations, and to the supply centers they require raw materials, laborers are required, other fuels are required. Like this way there are lot of activities are undertaking under the economic activities. So this is mainly carried out through the railway system, as it can carry large amount of passengers and large volume of goods and services. Then 150 years is over now, our railway lines has started, and its total length covered as per the latest data is 1,23,236 km. 13,523 passenger trains are there, 7,349 stations are there, 23 million passengers and 3 million goods are transported by the railway lines. Okay, so we know unlike the road system or roadways, the construction of railway lines is also depending upon physiographic factors, economic factors and administrative factors are there. Now what are the physiographic factors? You know what are the physiographic factors? That is the Himalayan region, as I told you, northeastern hilly regions. These are not favorable for construction of railway lines, and these areas are economically less productive also. So there is economic benefits are less. So there the number of railway lines are less compared with northern plains, southern plateaus. We require the Western Ghat regions. We require tunnels are required. So the construction cost is very high. Tunnels are required in the Western Ghats to, now for example, Konkan Railways. Konkan Railways reduce the travel time between Mumbai and Kerala, but it requires tunnels to construct, and these tunnels faces a lot of problems during the rainy season, especially the landsliding is there. Then waterlogging is a problem. Landslides are most common factor, so it creates problems in the rainy season. So like this way, depending upon the physiographic divisions and the administrative system and the economic factors, we have to consider the construction depending upon these factors. At the same time, Deccan Plateau regions or northern plains of India have high concentration of business centers, industries are there, agricultural goods should be transported from one place to another. So these regions have a high network of railway lines while considering with the northeastern hilly region or Himalayan mountainous regions. So where there is rocky areas are there we have to construct the tunnels to cross the railway line. So this also is a costly task, is it or not? Now we can analyze the classification of the railway lines. So as per the gap between the railway tracks, the space between the railway tracks, we can classify into broad gauge, narrow gauge and metro gauge. We can classify. What do you mean by broad gauge? 1.676 meter is the space or width between the railway tracks, and narrow gauge 0.762 meter, and now metro gauge 1 meter. So nowadays railway has converted many of the narrow gauges and metro gauges into broad gauges. Now you know the most important means of transport is railways. You know the metros, how it is running on the major cities, accommodating volume of goods are accommodated by the railway system. So it is very important nowadays as the principal mode of transport, but there are a lot of problems also, as I told you, while constructing the hilly areas, the forested areas, the swampy areas, all have lot of problems are also there in construction of railway lines. Large amount of money we have to spend. Then there are certain problems are faced by the railways. What are the problems faced? Traveling without ticket. Our train will come and stop in the railway station. We can just stand on the door. Come on, get on the next station. Some people are doing this. Is it good or what? These are unfair practices causing revenue loss to the government. So many people are there who are traveling without ticket. It is an unfair practice as it causes revenue loss. Okay, then theft. Stealing the properties of the railways or damaging the trains. This all we are doing. People are doing all these things. Damaging the railway properties. Theft. Stop the train by pulling the chain unnecessarily. For some people it is a joke to pull that chain, then train will stop. You imagine what all problems are created by it. It is for an emergency situation that is kept, but some people play with it. So it causes time delay, thereby it affects the running time of the train. Passengers are suffering. So a lot of problems are created by doing so by the people. So they have to adjust with many station signals. Is it or not? It is not a small thing. So these are all some problems faced by the railways. So there are different problems are there. That is traveling without ticket, theft, damage to railway properties, and unnecessarily playing with the chain by pulling the chain. These are all malpractices what people are nowadays also following by causing revenue loss and damage to the railway system. Okay, so we should consider that without this transportation system we cannot achieve growth. It is very essential. Without transportation system we cannot achieve development, so we have to depend on different types of transportation system. So railways plays a major role in connecting the different parts of the country. Okay, now next major means of transportation system is pipelines. All of you heard about pipeline transportation system. It is a modern method of transportation system which help us to transport especially the crude oil, petroleum and natural gas. Solid substances can also be transported but should be made into slurry. You know what is slurry? Semi-liquid substances. They are called slurry. So they can be converted into slurry and can be transported. What are the advantages of pipeline transportation system? Its initial cost is high, but maintenance cost is less or running cost is less, and we can avoid time lag in shipping. Like that way, loss also can be, transshipment loss can also be avoided while filling in the ship tankers. There is chance of loss of this crude oil or petroleum products or natural gases. So these delays and losses can be avoided, and maintenance cost is less. But there are certain disadvantages also, like initial cost is high and there is possibility of bursting of the pipelines, and leakage in the pipeline may cause much problems. Now there is a new project, GAIL pipeline is running in our country. Is it or not? So we have mainly three major pipeline projects are there at present. One is Assam, Kanpur, Guwahati, Barauni to Allahabad. In between the areas are connected. Second one, Salia, Gujarat, Jalandhar, Punjab, Mathura is UP Mathura and Delhi. The second pipeline connects. The third one is a gas pipeline connecting Azaria, UP, Vijaypur, Madhya Pradesh. All these places are connected by these pipelines. So long distances can be covered, but the problem is that the initial laying cost is very high. So there are three major pipelines are there connecting different parts of the country. These are the pipelines used to for crude oil and petroleum products, and one for gas products. So advantages especially for carrying these petroleum products, crude oil etc. can be avoided wastage and delays also, but there is chances for a leakage and bursting of the pipes, or initial cost is very high. So this is a modern means of transportation system which we use in the carrying of petroleum products or crude oil. Okay. Now next important transportation system is waterways. All of you know waterways. Is it or not? Especially our country, southern part surrounded by oceans. There are many inland waterways are there. There are many overseas waterways are there. So, and especially for we people, Alapi, we know we have many waterways are there. Is it or not? And enjoying the boating by the tourist also. So the importance of waterways, all of you know. So what are the importance of waterways? Cheapest means of transport. Compared with other modes of transport, it is the cheapest means of transport. Heavy and bulky goods can be transported easily. For example, coal, fertilizers. Next major means of transportation system is waterways. All of you know about waterways. The importance of waterways also all of you know. Is it or not? Because we are surrounded by water bodies on three sides. So South India is called a peninsular India, and because of the strategic location of India, on the head of this Indian Ocean. We have very good trade relations with the other nations of the world from ancient time onwards. So waterways always helped us to have close contact with the other nations of the world. So all of us know the importance of waterways. Is it or not? So it is the cheapest means of transport compared with other modes of transport. It is the cheapest means of transport. Heavy and bulky goods can be transported easily with the help of the waterways. That also you know. Coal, cement, petroleum products, salt, like this way, heavy machinery, like this way the things which requires large volume of transport or large amount of goods, large volume of goods can be transported with the help of the waterways. Then fuel efficient system of transportation, environment friendly. Then we have two types of waterways, inland waterways and overseas waterways are there. So it is helpful in carrying the large volume of transport, even passengers for pleasure trips, traveling. Ancient time people used it to travel through the waterways only. So fuel efficient, it is eco-friendly, and classification is inland waterways, that is within the country, and overseas waterways that we are going outside the country. Now 14,500 kilometer is the total length of waterways covered inland, and 3,700 mechanized boats are using these waterways. Okay, so this is about the waterways. All of you know it very well, especially we Alapi people are living near the water bodies. We have many lakes, rivers are all there, which are now also efficiently used by the people for transportation. So you know its importance. Now we have to analyze about the major seaports. We have to analyze that. I will show you through the map the important seaports, because we will discuss it through the important maps, because it is map questions also and multiple choice question also. So when I will show it through the maps, you can analyze it and you can locate it. So I will show you through with the help of the maps, and I will explain it one by one. Okay. The next important means of transportation is airways. You know the importance of airways, is it or not? Airways are the cost high transportation system compared with the landways and waterways. But for quicker means of transport, we require airways, and both passengers, cargo means goods and services, even our letters, all these are parcels, all these are carried through the airways. Now just 2 weeks before in TV showed about one elephant which is trapped in Pakistan. He is not accommodating with the zoo authorities of Pakistan, and he became violent in his action. So he was transported to Cambodia as through this cargo flight. He was transported, getting him entering in the big container, and he was transported. After a doctor arriving from there, by reading this news, became friendly with the elephant, and thus he arranged the system, and thus he is now in Cambodia. Okay, so like this way, even heavy, very heavy elephant, you know, and this elephant reduced its weight by 500 kilo to travel in the flight. See, he was given training by this doctor. So such any type of goods can be nowadays transporting, perishable articles and letters or communication system, go parcel services, travelers, all are transported by the airways. And you know there is domestic airlines is there, and international airways are also there, that you know. Then we have international flights. Many private airlines are also nowadays functioning. Even wealthy people have their own flights also. Chartered flights are there. So people are using airways compared with the ancient period nowadays more. And in the northeastern hilly regions of our country, airways is very helpful, and helicopter service is also very helpful in handling the disaster management system. Pawan Hans helicopter system is providing helicopter services. So this is also very helpful for people in handling the disaster management. So airways are very useful as it takes less time but cost is little bit high. But for emergency and quick operations it is very useful, and both goods and passengers can be transported with the help of the airways. Okay. So these are the major means of transportation system. Now we have to see the seaports and airports because they are the map questions. So I will show you one by one with the help of the map, and I will explain and give you. Okay. So we have seen that waterways are the cheapest means of transport. So there are five inland waterways are there. So we can see one by one. The first one is Ganga river between Allahabad and Haldia. That is the first national waterway number 1. The second one is the Brahmaputra river between Sadia and Dhubri. That is waterway number 2. So the first one covers a distance of 1620 km. The second one is covering a distance of 891 km. The West Coast Canal in Kerala, that is third one, Kottapurma, Komman, Udyoga Mandal, Chambakara canals. They are in Kerala. The West Coast Canal, Kottapurma, Kollam, Udyoga Mandal and Chambakara canals, it is called 205 km. Then North National Highway number 3 it is. Then we have the national waterway number 4 is specified stretches of Godavari and Krishna rivers along the Kakinada Puducherry stretch of canals. Then East Coast Canal, that is national waterway number 5, Brahmani along the Matti river, deltas of Mahanadi and Brahmani rivers. These are the major national waterways. So there are 5 national waterways are there which are connecting different parts of India. So they are inland waterways as they are carrying transportation within the country. So you can expect map question also and multiple choice question also. Then our 95% of the country's trade volume is mainly moved by sea, we know. They are called overseas waterways. So we can analyze one by one the major ports of our country, both seaports and airports. So we have a long coastline of 7,516.6 km. So we have 12 major and 200 non-major or minor ports are there. So first we can analyze the major ports on the western coast of India. First one is Khandala port. That is the first port developed soon after independence to reduce the volume of transport in the Mumbai port. Then Mumbai itself, one more port has developed, that is Jawaharlal Nehru port, which is constructed as a hub port. So these two ports are reducing or decongesting the trade volume of the Mumbai port. And Khandala port is a tidal port, and Khandala port is connecting the states of Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, Punjab, Haryana, Rajasthan and Gujarat. So these ports are mainly handling exports or imports of highly productive granary and industrial products of these states. So this port has much importance. So there are map question also and 3 mark question also you can expect from this port. Okay, this is a tidal port. This is a constructed soon after independence to reduce the volume of transport in the Mumbai port. 2 ports have constructed. One is Jawaharlal Nehru port and another one is Khandala port. It has another name also called Deen Dayal port. Okay. Then Mumbai port is the biggest port, you know. It is from ancient time onwards. We have large trade relations with the other countries of the world through the Mumbai port. Okay. Now another major port is Goa, Marmagova port. That is the premier iron ore exporting port. We have 4 major ports through which iron ore is exported. So one is Goa, which is handling major iron ore port. Then we come down towards the western coast. Mangalore Port. New Mangalore Port is located in Karnataka state, that is also handling the minerals or iron ore from the Kundarmukh mine. So Goa Port and Marmagova Port are there, southwestern port. It is handling the Kundarmukh mines iron concentrations. Then we have a Kochi port is there, which is the queen of Arabian Sea. It is in our own state. You know the importance of Kochi port, which is located at the entrance of the lagoon, the Arabian Sea, which is a natural harbor also. Okay, so I have discussed about the major ports on the western coast. Now we can move towards the eastern coast. See, if we will start from the extreme southeastern port of Tuticorin in Tamil Nadu. This is the main natural harbor and it is a hinterland, means connecting the major land with these ports. And this is also handling a variety of cargoes from our neighboring countries like Sri Lanka and Maldives and the coastal regions of India. Then we are coming up. Then Chennai, we have the oldest artificial port is there. It is next to Mumbai in volume of transport and cargo. Then another important port in the eastern coast is Visakhapatnam, which is the deepest and the landlocked, well protected port. This port is also handling iron ore export. So Goa port, then Mangalore port, and this Visakhapatnam is also handling the iron ore export. Then next important riverine port is Kolkata port, which is located on the banks of Hooghly river, and here we have to do dredging. You know what is dredging? Removing the sediments from the bottom of the river so that the ships can come closer towards the port. In the tidal port of Khandala also the same problem is there. High tide is there, then only the ships can come closer, otherwise they have to stay at the outside of the port area, and we have to collect the goods by small boats. So here we are in the Hooghly river, we are doing dredging, that is removing the sediments at the bottom of the river so that we can have the sedimentation removed, and it helps us to have increasing the volume of the river so that ships can come closer towards the port area. Then another port is located in Odisha, Paradip. It is also iron ore export port. So I have told you Khandala, New Mangalore, not Khandala, Goa, New Mangalore, then this Visakhapatnam and Paradip. 4 major ports are there which are handling the iron ore export in our country, and this also located in the Ganga Brahmaputra basin is located, which is a tidal port also. Kolkata is also a tidal port and it requires constant dredging on the Hooghly river. So Visakhapatnam is there, Tuticorin is there, Kolkata port is there. Then next major port is Haldia port, which has developed as a subsidiary port in order to relieve growing pressure on the Kolkata port. So Khandala port and this Jawaharlal Nehru port as subsidiary ports of Mumbai port, while on the eastern coast a subsidiary port is the Haldia port, which is developed to decongest the trade volume of the Kolkata port. So these are the major ports located on the eastern and western coast of India, which is helping us in carrying out 95% of our trade relations. You know, India's location on the head of the Indian Ocean has given us an important or strategic position from ancient time onwards, in which we are handling the trade relations with the foreign countries. So we know the importance of air transport, which is the fastest and most comfortable, prestigious mode of transport. It is very helpful during the time of disasters, covering the hilly terrains of the northeastern states, and the oil and gas, natural gas corporations, rig areas are also helpful in covering by the air transport. These are very difficult terrains where we can reach, and thick forest regions are also covered by this helicopter service and aeroplane services. So Air India provides the domestic and international services in our country, which is nationalized in 1953. And Pawan Hans helicopter system is providing the helicopter services for Natural Oil Gas Corporation. Offshore operations are conducted by the Pawan Hans helicopters. Okay, so air travel is not within the reach of the common people, we know. And northeastern states, there is other means of transport is very difficult. There also we are providing the air travel system, and we have major airports like Kochi, Kozhikode, Thiruvananthapuram, Kannur in Kerala. Then we have other major cities, metro cities like Delhi, Mumbai, Kolkata, Guwahati, Chennai. All major cities are connected with the major metro cities are connected with the air travel system. So these are the major means of transport which help us to have a easier trading, and passengers can reach within in their correct destination at proper time. Understood this much of portions very well, so read the textbook. There are many multiple choice questions and map questions are there, so please take care of yourself and prepare for the interactive session. We will meet in the interactive session, and I will be with the rest of the lesson in the next class. Thank you for your patient listening. Thank you all.